Evening to you, our viewers, and thank you for joining Speak Uganda News tonight. You're watching Record Television with me, Shamim Nawakoza, and Sarah Ochurot on the other side of the sign language to take you through the news first. We'll look at what is making headlines. In our top stories tonight, first batch of COVID-19 vaccines to arrive on Friday. This as vaccination is set to commence on the 10th March. Also tonight, list of kidnapped Ugandans fails to be released. Parliament directs MPs to table own lists.
This matter is very serious.
And Parliament blocks Ndeba Church of Uganda compensation, cites 2 billion inflation. Details and more stories in Speak Uganda tonight. Thank you for joining us. Once again, we're live on air on our social media platforms too. Record TV Uganda on Facebook, on Twitter at Record TV UG. You can join the news live right there on those platforms. Starting off with the Health Ministry, Minister Dr. General Acheng has revealed that the first batch of COVID-19 of at least 800,000 and 64,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines will arrive in Uganda on 5th March. Dr. Acheng said the vaccination will then commence on 4th or 10th March, as she enhanced and announced that in the press conference that was held at the Ministry of Health headquarters today in Kampala.
While addressing a press conference today, Health Minister Ruth Acheng announced that Uganda will by this Friday receive its first dose of COVID-19 vaccines.
Vaccination will begin on the 10th of March 2021. Following a national launch on the 8th of March 2021 and subsequent distribution to all the districts. 2. All persons eligible for vaccination will be required to provide a national identification card in the case of Ugandan citizens or a passport in the case of non-Ugandans. Number 3. Government health centers 3s, 4s, district hospitals, regional referral hospitals, national referral hospitals, and government specialized institutions have been designated as vaccination service points in each district and
The health minister said that the first phase of vaccination will focus on health workers from all public, private, not-for-profit, and private health centers that are estimated to be around 150,000 across the country. The first phase of vaccination will also include persons from the age of 50 years and above. These are estimated to be at 3,348,500. They will also vaccinate persons with underlying health conditions but aged below 50 years.
Health facilities will be the first group to receive the vaccines. This is because they are at the front line in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic and are vulnerable to infection, as has been shown by the statistics of infection. To date, 1,892 health workers have been infected and 9 have succumbed to COVID-19. In addition, once they are protected, they will be motivated to continue providing health care to the populations, and also they will not transmit infection to patients and clients they attend to. Health workers in the public health facilities will receive vaccines from their workplaces. Health workers from private not-for-profit and private facilities will be required to go to the nearest public facility for their vaccines. This procedure should be adhered to until each health worker has received 2 doses of the vaccine. Number 8, the second group will be the teachers. This is extremely important as we prepare to reopen the schools for our children to continue with their education. All teachers will be required to access vaccines from the nearest public health facility, starting from Health Center 3 up to a national referral hospital.
Under phase 2 and 3 of the COVID-19 vaccination program, Dr. Acheng said that the Health Ministry will roll out the vaccination program to age groups between 18 and 50 years in a staggered manner until 49.6% of all the Ugandan population is vaccinated. Now, Karafena for Speak Uganda, Record TV.
Key to note is that the vaccine is coming in at a time when the infections of COVID-19 in the country have also reduced. We do move on with the family of former lawyer Bob Robert Kasango, who was fought over his body shortly after a requiem mass at the Saints Cathedral, Nakasero. Kasango died of heart-related issues from Rosira Government Prison, where he has been serving a 16-year jail sentence. His widow, Nancy Kasango, had organized a funeral and burial at their village home in Nagweri, Fort Portal, which the husband's side disagreed about grabbing the body and whisking it away to Tororo.
The widow of former city lawyer Bob Kasango had made arrangements to rest his loved one at their countryside home in Fort Portal. However, the husband's family disagreed with the decision, grabbing the body from funeral service staff on duty shortly after a requiem service at All Saints Nakasero. Although police were called to intervene, they reached later after the body had been whisked away. Later, the body is said to have been intercepted and brought back to Kampala until there is harmony between the two warring families. During the requiem service, the deceased widow had told mourners that his husband died of state negligence, as on several occasions had been put on notice over his health. Nancy Kasango said on the All Saints Nakasero pulpit that the deceased was intentionally denied his right to health.
I called the doctors. I called every number I could call. I said, please take Bob, he needs oxygen. This thing has happened before. Bob needs oxygen. I told the doctor, I'm talking to you, but I'm on my knees. I knelt. He was on the other side of the line. And the doctor said, yeah, I'll go and see him tomorrow. I'm saying the man needs oxygen. Anyway, he sends a message and says, feel nice, I'll be fine. Then around 8 p.m., they called me and said things have become worse. The blood has increased in the mouth. He's in a coma, and they are now taking him to Makishon Bay. You can imagine. They wrote and said that Bob died on the way to hospital. It's not true. Bob died in Makishon Bay Hospital.
This as his children vowed to reign the legacy of their father despite all odds.
I stand here today and promise before all of you that my father's death shall never be in vain, and through us his legacy shall live on forever.
I know that she's going to continue doing that.
The message was clear from friends who heroized the deceased as a person who served beyond self and humanity.
Expensive treatment, but actually required treatment outside of that hospital. But Bob never complained about his medical condition. Bob had been pilloried by a very biased and unprofessional press. He rarely complained about it. Bob had been forgotten by many of his friends, whom he had done so much for. He never complained about it.
Bob got married to Nice and got 3 beautiful children. Bob was devoted to his family, totally devoted to his family. And Nice and the kids, thank you very much for being devoted to Bob. Nice, you have fought this fight again.
Kasango died of heart-related illnesses from Lozira Government Prison, where he has been serving a 16-year jail sentence after he got convicted over the public service 15 billion funds that went missing. Story compiled by Paul Matovu for Record TV, Speak Uganda.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, has called upon scientists and government to educate people more about COVID-19, saying many citizens are blank on different trying to enforce the COVID-19 directives of the president on fighting the virus with increased abductions, detentions and torture. It's from here that he has asked scientists to come out and tell the country on how they have been able to research with the different discoveries on COVID-19 treatment other than keeping people in darkness and tension.
Because COVID-19 has brought so many challenges, and for us to make progress in whatever we do in 2021, we've got to be more innovative, we've got to be more tenacious, we've got to be more hardworking. Therefore, I urge all the people to put an extra effort to whatever they do. The farmers must continue producing crops, especially for the market. They must practice more animal husbandry. Even if the prices have dropped a little, one who has what to sell will be better off than someone who is got nothing to sell. The second point I mentioned is for the scientists and the government to educate us better about COVID-19, because there is confusion. So we need to be better educated by the scientists and the government on this point. And I think that whatever decisions that are taken concerning COVID-19 must be scientifically founded. Finally, I talked about the current situation in the country. If we are going to be able to achieve anything in 2021, we must have peace in the country. Now, violence and brutality will push people further away from the authorities. And the people, when they go further away from the authorities, that can't help those in power. It only makes the situation even more difficult. So I urge the authorities to ensure that there is peace and tranquility in the country and the brutalities are brought to an end so that the country can face the challenges brought upon us by COVID-19.
Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Litwala Kadaga, has today okayed members of Parliament to bring names of missing persons to table them before Parliament, and so that the Minister of Internal Affairs is tasked to explain where their whereabouts. This came after legislators expressed disappointment with the government's failure to release the list of persons that are being incarcerated by security agencies in the different detention facilities following several abductions. MPs Joseph Saungu of Kalungu West told the August Assembly that he has compiled his own list of the abducted persons.
We only see the spokesperson of Uganda Police communicating through Uganda Media Center as usual, and up to now, we've not got any answer about people who are being abducted, yet they are still abducting others. So would it be procedurally okay to know why the minister is not giving us the list?
The question of the missing persons has come into the political and security vocabulary of this country.
My nephew, Bakenya Victor Balikudembe, has been missing for the last 2 months.
The police and the UPDF are fighting. They say we are not the ones responsible, we are not the ones responsible. Even when it comes to releasing the list.
Mr. Speaker, this matter is very serious. Very many Ugandans have disappeared. And I'm very sure the police officers must be feeling ashamed by now. That is why they are delaying, they are dragging up and down. They do not want to produce the list.
After the commander-in-chief has directed, 2 weeks now down the road, they are not obeying. Who are these people?
In Mukono, we recovered almost a dead body of a young man from Chaliwajala who was dumped in Mukono.
And if he has failed, I am ready to provide a list of those people who have been abducted to the parliament. There is a clash between security agencies, and the police is complaining about being accused of not doing its work, yet the army is having these people.
Let them produce the list. If some of these guys are killed, let them tell us clearly, so that the parents, the family, take care of their dead bodies.
But wouldn't it be procedural, okay, Madam Speaker, that we first exhaust off the matter concerning the disappearance of our people, the murders, the detentions, the persecution?
The President demanded that those who have the list should publish them so that people know where their family members are, which has not been done. When we last sat last week, we asked the Minister of Internal Affairs to bring the list, both from the UPDF and from the Uganda Police Force, to lay it on the table. But in the absence of that, I want to ask those members who have missing people to produce a list, present it here, then we ask the government to account for those people. I think that's what we can do.
Seemingly, the question of the list is not about to be answered. We do take a short commercial break. There's still more to come. Stay with us.
TV. Every time I tell big gula movie.
Downloading TV. Streaming TV jiteke kusimu yo. Win big every day with your TV. Win 200k cash every day. Buli wa moje funa. Luaso wachido kusimu sigi no kiria.
Wangula buli daily with your TV channels. Win 200,000 shillings daily and more in prizes. Download the Your TV channels app and enjoy your first month free without using your data. Watch local and international channels, movies, sports, news, and Telemundo all day. Your TV channels. The power is in your hands.
Oh, by the way, Carl, Mother will be visiting us this weekend.
Believe me, I'm counting the minutes. Eureka!
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. I'm glad you're still watching Speak Uganda News. To remind you, we're live on air on our social media platforms too. Record TV Uganda on Facebook, on Twitter at Record TV UG. Now moving on, the Democratic Party has committed itself to participating in the upcoming iPod Summit on Friday. According to the party spokesperson, Opio Kolera Manu, he says that the only way they can solve the current impasse in the country is through dialogue. And now the DP confirmation comes at the back of the rejection of talks by the Forum for Democratic Change yesterday. Also, that has been followed by rejection of Jema Party.
The Democratic Party has embraced dialogue as a way to iron out grievances and seek solutions to the challenges in the country, according to DP spokesperson Okolero Pio.
Rather than informally condemning, castigating, and crying while uttering words of vituperation, the Democratic Party, being a party of ideas, we have determined to complain, but through one of the available formal structures, namely the iPod.
Ibrahim Semjonganda, the party spokesperson of the Forum for Democratic Change, yesterday noted that his party cannot be seen to sit with President Museveni, who they accuse of jailing and torturing Ugandans. However, Okolero has responded to him.
For some of the reasons I have listed here, we will be unable to attend that meeting.
Other than accusing ourselves in a diatribe via media, speaking words of vituperation towards the others, we believe that that method of work cannot yield.
Okolera, among other issues, expressed concern over government's failure to extend interest-free loans to parents to be in position to pay school dues for their children, something he says is going to translate into the many school dropouts, which is a tragedy for Mother Uganda.
Giving out interest-free loans to Ugandans whose businesses were crippled by the pandemic. Now that that was not done, many Ugandans will not be able to support their children in school, let alone failing to take them back. We demand that government should prevail over the situation, lest we be flooded with an unimaginable number of school dropouts, which in our opinion can be calamitous to our nation.
Okolero was addressing the weekly press conference at DP headquarters at City House in Kampala. John Jimmy Musimbi, Record TV, Speak Uganda.
Now, in that same line, as member parties in the Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue plan to meet on Friday to discuss, among other issues, the electoral frustrations from concluded elections. Political analysts have expressed mixed reactions into the meeting, yielding anything. Now, these have cited out key issues, inclusive of electoral violence, that need to be tabled genuinely, warning that if such are not subjected to discussion, the relevance of this meeting is questionable. The Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue last evening pronounced itself on the summit, in which all political parties with members of parliament in the legislature are to meet on Friday. That is supposed to be chaired by the president, who is also the NRM chairman. However, this has been received with mixed reactions, questioning the political environment and the manner in which this is being held.
These calls are received with a lot of mixed reactions among the opposition, and particularly the issue of being genuine in terms of these discussions. Most people within the opposition, especially the serious part of the opposition, take these talks as a form of having a tea with the president.
In terms of substantive output, I don't think that we should expect much of the substantive output of this meeting. Any output from the iPod process is always, there must be a lot of build-up to that.
To the political analysts, there is need to set the agenda on the key issues that did not go well in the elections, especially the violation of human rights, crackdown on opposition activities, and the recent kidnaps of their supporters. There's one that, if not taken to be key concerns, the summit is likely to only be a tea party.
The issues of unity should be central, but the issue of the conduct of security forces should also be central, because some of these elements of human rights abuse are the cause of disunity within the public.
If parties are not allowed to hold meetings, if leaders are being arrested, if people are stopped from moving around, I mean, those are the issues that require political consensus.
There has been a concern of deliberately making the iPod talks non-substantive, since most of the matters occasionally are not put into action. To this, it explains why the Opposition Forum for Democratic Change has chosen to distance itself from the summit, whose agenda has not been agreed on.
If, for example, FDC is not part of the agenda, and FDC is the party that is going to have so many problems with police officers and moving across all over the country, even if iPod resolves that we shall follow the law and whatever we do, FDC will maintain its approach, and we shall see more confrontations between the police and the FDC people. So at the end of the day, Ugandans do not want to hear that iPod has agreed. Ugandans want to see an improved political environment.
Something within NRM, President Museveni must be involved. So when you see that talks are being organized and the president is not quite involved or is not central in the talks, you know that these are not going to be very serious talks. And even when he tries to participate, he wants to be involved as a senior, as a supervisor of others. So,
with talks of reconciliation central to those in power, to some it's one of the processes to reconciliation, but the mode of organization cannot make the process see light or yield any fruits.
Whereas it might be one of the intentions, I think the way they have planned it does not lead to that, especially the timing that ensures that they leave out what we now have as the main political party, the National Unity Platform, which has not yet joined Parliament, I think cannot lead to any meaningful unity.
The Forum for Democratic Change, which has been the main opposition party for long, is among those that have faced extreme wrath from security agencies, with the National Unity Platform, whose members are not yet into the inter-party organizations and their grievances cannot be tabled. Shamim Nabakoza, for Speak Uganda, Record TV. Parliament has today stopped compensation of city businessman Dodoviko Mwanje over Ndeba Churchland following reports that it was inflated by 2 billion shillings. This follows a petition from one Michael Bongomin, who petitioned the government protesting the 3.3 billion supplementary expenditure which was passed by Parliament for government compulsory acquisition of Ndeba Churchland. The 1.494 billion shillings, which was passed to compensate the one Godfrey Mugisha through compulsory acquisitions, has also been stopped over inflation of the size of land.
Amidst the controversy on compensation of land fund beneficiaries, Parliament approved a supplementary budget of 292 billion shillings on 12 February. 7.6 billion was appropriated for compensation of Dodoviko Mwanje for compulsory acquisition of the Endeavour Church land and Meda Chichonjo for Lusanja land, with each getting 3.8 billion. Another 12.1 billion shillings request under the Uganda Land Commission to settle outstanding compensation under the land fund to 6 beneficiaries was also approved. But during today's parliamentary sitting, the Speaker Rebecca Kadaga told the August House that the concerned citizens petitioned Parliament citing inflation of value and size of land for compensation.
Subsequent to the passing of that supplementary, I received 4 more complaints. One that in respect to one of the requests for compensation, the land had been inflated by 254 hectares. Secondly, that although the presentation indicated that one of the beneficiaries was receiving a second payment, in fact, she had never received even the first payment. Therefore, the chances were that the second payment was also not going to reach her. The third one also related to inflating the quantum.
The petition to challenge compensation of Dodoviko Mwanje to vacate the Endeavour Church land and Godfrey Mugisha was lodged in by Michael Bongomin, claiming that Endeavour Church land was inflated in value by 2 billion shillings, yet Mugisha's land, which was budgeted at 1.494 billion, was inflated by 256 hectares.
For the benefit of Messrs. Ephraim Enterprises, totaling Uganda shillings 3,802,500,000 only, as compensation for the compulsory acquisition of land by Government of Uganda for Endeavour Church of Uganda. And 2, Vote 156, Uganda Lands Commission, for the benefit of Mr. Mugisha Godfrey, totaling to Uganda shillings 1,494,000,000 only, as compensation for the compulsory acquisition of land, alleging that the land belonging to Mr. Mugisha was inflated by 256 hectares and the value for Messrs. Ephraim Enterprises land was inflated by 2 billion Uganda shillings.
This angered members of Parliament who passed the supplementary budget and asked the Speaker to sanction an investigations into the administration of the Ministry of Lands.
The money for compensation over the church should not also be released because the person who demolished the church by the names of Dodo said there was no valuation report and he never asked for that money, and he was wondering how that money came about before giving a valuation report.
Madam Speaker, I think that ad hoc committee are proposing should dig into the matters and establish who are these people, who are the people who took the first payment, how many acres, who was inflated.
The State Minister for Finance, Gabriel Ajedra, moved a motion to amend the resolution of Parliament, which passed the 292 billion supplementary expenditure scheduled to allow government to investigate public concerns of overpricing of some items.
This Parliament resolves to amend its resolution dated 11th of February 2021 on the supplementary schedule number 4 and addenda number 1 and 2 to the supplementary schedule number 4 for the financial year 2021 by deleting 3,802,500,000 only as compensation for the compulsory acquisition of land by Government of Uganda for Endeavour Church of Uganda.
The Speaker, Rebecca Kadaga, promised to appoint an ad hoc committee to investigate concern of inflation, circumstances under which the controversial supplementary request was made by the Ministry of Lands.
And we shall set up the ad hoc committee. I'll be informing you about the composition.
Report compiled by Fred Kajibe for Speak Uganda, Record TV.
And in sports tonight, Uganda's national badminton player Husna Kobgabe has won the Royal Star Monthly Award for her outstanding performance in the month of February. Jack Komakech, the Uganda Hippos player, and Joshua Cheptegei have also won the monthly award in their respective positions.
Husna Kobugabe won 2 gold medals in the women doubles and mixed doubles in the recently concluded Uganda International Badminton Championship. Husna beat Fadila Shamika and Brian Kaslie to win the Matthew Award. The athlete says that such awards motivate them so much in their sports disciplines.
I would like to thank the sponsors for recognizing our victory and our efforts, because this is forcing me to work hard, not to relax. So I have to work hard to keep winning and to encourage others not to give up. Now I'm looking forward to playing my best in the All Africa Championships, which are to take place in South Africa. So I have to make sure Team Uganda performs well. I will do my best to perform better.
Joshua Komakech, a Ugandan under-20 national goalkeeper, has also been so instrumental for the Uganda Hippos side during the ongoing AFCON under-20 championship in Mauritania. In the month, he only conceded twice and kept 2 clean sheets at the competition. Komakech beat Steven Serada and striker George Senkaba to win the Matthew Award.
I feel very happy because the work that we are doing with the rest of the kids, including Komakech, is being recognized at a national level. So I feel very happy about that. With this award, it gives him the confidence that this is the right thing to do as a sportsman. Continue to work every day, continue.
We nurture talent together, and those who are supposed to appreciate and rewarding are supposed to be doing the same. We are here to say that let's reward, let's motivate, let's make sure that these sportsmen are seen everywhere and appreciated.
The 4th Betrel Star Award is a Matthew Award given to outstanding personnel in various sports disciplines. Samgeza Mustafa for Speak Uganda Sports.
And that brings us to the close of Speak Uganda News tonight. Thank you for being part of this broadcast. I am Shamim Navakoz and Sarah Ochrot on the other side of the sign language who have been taking you through the news. Have a good night. Stay tuned.